Bill came home and told me, how would you like to go to Iowa? And I said, Iowa? Where's Iowa? And so we got out the map and we looked. Well, it's west of the Mississippi. Shall we go look at it? So we came up and looked at it and looked around, and he had several interviews with faculty members and administrators, and decided that this sounded like a good place. So instead of going to California, we moved to Upper Iowa.
So when I come back in the service, it was kind of assumed I would take over the family farm since I was the youngest. But my parents said, no, farming's too risky. You need to get an education and get a solid paycheck every week. And so I decided to go to Upper Iowa just to give it a try. And I commuted back and forth, worked in the farm.
It was back in 1985, graduating from college with my master's, looking for positions as a dean of students or associate dean of students at small private colleges. And just happened to apply here at Upper Iowa, and they were doing a lot of changing around, and that was with Dr. Roshlow. So I was one of the new hires.
Joe Basso and Ray Buvala, my two buddies, cajoled me to go to Iowa, to this place called Upper Iowa. And as I said, Upper U.S.? Yeah, Upper U.S. I said, where the hell is that? And of course, they reminded me that 8 other kids who we graduated with went there. So we piled in a car and out we go, and we spent the weekend, and I fell in love with the place.
It just was comfortable. It was just a comfortable, easy transition.
Well, one of the things I liked about Upper Iowa was the small class size and the ability to develop a relationship with the faculty member.
It was an educational atmosphere. And first in my adult life, I spent time in the library.
You know, I think more about the young people who really came from very disadvantaged homes to turn themselves around because they met a coach or a teacher or somebody who cared about them and took them under their wing and helped them succeed. And then they've gone out and, you know, succeeded themselves and helped their environments.
The first 20 years after I graduated from Upper Iowa, I had really no contact with the university. And then I got in the mail an invitation to an alumni get-together in the late 80s. And so I thought, well, I'll just attend to see what's happening at Upper Iowa. And I was pretty impressed with their speaking, what was going on and so forth. And so I thought after that, you know, I should probably donate something for a scholarship because I was fortunate to get scholarships while I was there.
Literally, I gave to career development and just being able to have resources because career development just did not have the money. So there wasn't any one big project that I gave to. It was just there so I'd have some money to be able to do things for students that I couldn't otherwise do.
I thought, since that's all I knew was education, that maybe some small way I could be an encouragement to maybe freshmen who were, maybe they struggled to get through the first year and thought it wasn't worth it. Maybe if they had a little financial help, maybe that would encourage them to go on and at least go another year. Maybe after that they would have an idea of what they wanted to do. It was just something I set aside, and this is what I'm going to do, because I wanted to perpetuate Bill, really, the influence that he had on young people at Upper Iowa. And if that was some way that I could do it and help. That's what I wanted to do. So that's why I gave it in 2 parts. One was on the month that he was born, and the other was the month that he died.
One of my favorite events was the Honors and Awards banquet, and that really inspired me to create an endowed scholarship.
There was value in what I was contributing for, and that I saw growth in the university. Versus what I had seen when I was going there, and particularly over the last 25 years, I think there's been some real movement forward. The swamp that we used to play sports on, and the old dorms and everything else, and how those things have changed drastically. And I realize it hasn't been, it's been 60 years for God's sake, but still. And there ain't too many things from 1857 that still look halfway decent, I'm one of them, for God's sake.
I guess I just feel I have an obligation to pay back to Upper Iowa, because without them, I probably would have been a bankrupt dairy farmer 20 years ago.
It's a high that knowing you, not only you're changing a student's life, but maybe you're changing the world in some way. So, and it's a pretty easy thing to do when you think about the impact that it has.
They formed me. They formed me for the rest of my life. They gave me a college degree, and I used it. And there was many times when that's all I had was my college degree and something to sit down and think about. And it's kind of a rope at the end of the chain. It's kind of like you're pulling yourself out with it.
Well, I think any graduate just needs at some point in time to sit down and say, what's been the factors that have contributed to my success going forward? And it may have been something in high school, it may have been a relative, or it may have been Upper Iowa University. If they do that honestly, they'll probably sit back and say, without Upper Iowa, I don't think I'd achieve the success that I had.
I'm not an alum of Upper Iowa in terms of being educated by Upper Iowa, but I am an alumni of Upper Iowa because I have been here for 30 plus years, and Upper Iowa is in my heart, and I do bleed peacock blue. And even though I didn't get my education here, it is definitely one of the largest parts of my life. And it's kind of hard not to see it as my family